Hello, hello. I just wanted to give an opinion really on the Southport attacker. What's he called? Axel Rudakubana. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but who cares? He's an evil prick. So this guy, it's big news in the UK. He committed an appalling act of terrorism, but it's not called terrorism because he doesn't meet the all the government guidelines for being a terrorist, even though he was obsessed with terrorism and he read terrorist material. It was all found that on his home computer he'd been researching terrorist material for some time, but because he doesn't meet all the government guidelines that define a terrorist, he's not been called a terrorist. He can't be called a terrorist legally, which is obviously sounds bollocks to most people. But basically, this guy murdered a load of little girls by stabbing them in a place called Southport in the UK. He killed 3, and I think he injured something like 12 or 13, including the teacher. They're now left with life-changing, physical and mental injuries. So this guy is an evil prick. He's just been given the rest of his life in prison, effectively. He's only 18 years old. He's now going to spend the rest of his life in solitary confinement. He has to be, obviously, because all the other prisoners are going to want to kill him, or at least maim him. So he's going to do the hardest prison time there is. He's going to have to be kept in solitary. So he could now, in theory, live another 50 to... Well, he's 18, right? So he could now effectively live another... anything from another 40 to 80 years. He could live another 80 years. He could live to 100. So he could now do 80 years in prison and be like one of the longest serving prisoners ever in the world. And then he gets to die. A lot of people have been, in the UK, there's been a lot of anger, a lot of media people, a lot of the public have voiced their anger online and said the guy should have been fried, just stuck in the electric chair and fried, bring back the death penalty, blah, blah, blah. But my opinion is that I think he gets more of what he deserves by keeping him alive. Let him live out his now miserable life in solitary confinement in prison, and then he gets to die anyway, and not having lived any kind of life. He's lost his life effectively for what he's done. He gets to breathe, but he still doesn't have a life. Anyone who thinks he has a life clearly doesn't understand how prison works, and the way this guy is going to be kept in prison now for the rest of his life. Like I said, he doesn't get to interact with anybody. He's fucked. Bye.